Dear, dear students, let us continue with the one more concept called as water movement up a plant. Okay, and in the previous class, in the previous YouTube class, what we have studied about the absorption of water from the soil. Okay, I told you it occurs by two methods. One is called as the apoplast, and another one is called as the symplast. Okay, and however, it may be by the apoplast or it may be by the symplast, and water which is present within the soil, it will enter into the root part. Okay, root part means what here? It will reach the xylem, okay, which is present inside the stellar region of the root, right? Now the question comes, now only the water will reach from soil to the vascular cylinder. Okay, then now it has to move upwards. Okay, that is the remaining parts of the plant like the stem and the branches and etc. Right? Now how this water will move up a plant? Okay, this is the concept that what we have to understand now, right? And here um, whether it will occur by the passive process or active process or any other mechanism is involved, right? And here to understand this one, how the water will move upwards in the plant, to understand this concept we are going to study the two important processes here. One is called as the root pressure and another one is called as the transpiration pull. Okay, transpiration pull. Okay, and these two concepts will help us to understand how the water movement up a plant occurs, right? Okay, and here let us understand about the first one. Okay, and in the first point what we have mentioned here, water moves up a stem against gravity. Okay, against gravity, it means it requires energy here. Okay, water moves up a stem against gravity, and because of this one the water movement requires energy, right? And let us study about the pressure, that is root pressure, which is responsible for the water movement, right? And here uh, say for example ions. Okay, ions from the soil. Okay, as ions from the soil are actively transported into the vascular tissues of the roots, right? Ions will be present in the soil, but they will be actively transported into the vascular tissues of the roots. Okay, then already we have studied about the active transport, right? It requires it is nothing but the movement of here movement of ions from lower concentration to the higher concentration. Okay, by utilizing the ATP, right? Okay, as ions from the soil are actively transported into the vascular tissues of the roots, then along with the ions water also follows. It means water also move from soil to the root part, right? Water follows, it means its potential gradient. Okay, water movement is based on the potential gradient, right? That is from higher water potential to the lower water potential, right? And here inside the plant the value of water potential will be less. Why? Because some sort of always the chemicals or the solutes are dissolved in it, in plant cells. Okay, outside the water potential will be more, that is in the soil, right? And here because of the entry of ions and water in the root, there is the pressure increase in the pressure inside the xylem. Okay, and this positive pressure is called as the root pressure, right? Okay, due to the entry of water and ions into the root part, there is a development of the pressure inside the xylem, that is considered as the positive pressure, and which is also called as the root pressure. Okay, root pressure which is developed in the xylem of the roots. Okay, it is considered as the root pressure only, right? And here, what is the importance of root pressure in the water movement here, right? And here, remember, it helps to push up water, okay, to small heights in the stem, okay. It is, and here its role is it can help to push the water only to a small heights, not to a bigger heights like 100 meters or above, right? Okay, only to a small heights it can help, okay. So what is the importance of root pressure here? It helps to push the water to small heights in the stem part, right? And here in the given diagram or photograph, you can observe here, one is the development of the root pressure, then the properties of water, cohesion and adhesion, okay, then transpiration, right? Three important labelings are there, I will tell you later, okay. Then uh, one more thing is we are going to understand uh, the experiment, okay, the experiment to prove that how the root pressure will exist in the plant or in the root, okay. Experiment to prove existence of root pressure, right? And here, mm, during early morning having atmospheric moisture, okay, what we can do here, we are going to cut a soft plant, we are going to cut a soft plant stem horizontally near the base, right? Okay, we are going to take a small plant, not a big one, right? During early morning having atmospheric pressure, we are going to cut a soft plant stem horizontally near the base. Then what we are going to observe here, some drops will come out or ooze out, drops of solution ooze out of the cut stem, okay. And why these drops will come outside here? This is mainly due to the development of positive root pressure. This is mainly due to the development of positive root pressure inside the plant or inside the root part, right? Okay. Then one more concept we are going to understand, okay. If root pressure develops in the plant, then that is responsible for one more phenomenon called as the guttation, okay, one more phenomenon called as the guttation, okay. And remember, guttation means what here? The the loss of water, the loss of water in the form of liquid droplets is called as guttation. Now already we have studied about the transpiration, even in schools. Transpiration means what? The loss of water in the form of vapors, okay, is called as transpiration. But here guttation, what is the difference here? The uh, the loss of water in the form of liquid droplets is called as guttation. And here we can observe that at night and early morning, evaporation will be slow. It means what here? The transpiration rate will be low, right? At night and early morning evaporation or transpiration rate is low, so excess water collects as droplets around special openings of the veins, okay. And here the excess water will collect as droplets or liquid droplets around special openings of veins near the tips of grass blades. Grass means the monocot leaves, right? Grass blades means what here? The monocot leaves only, they are nothing but monocot leaves. And leaves of many herbaceous parts or herbaceous plants, say for example dicot plants, right? And here those openings are called as the hydathodes, okay, hydathodes, or they are also called as the water stomata, right? Such water loss in liquid phase is called as guttation, right? And here when guttation occurs here? At night and early morning when the evaporation or transpiration rate is low, okay. And because of this one, the excess water collects as droplets around the special openings. Special openings means what here? I told you, The hydatodes, or they are also called as the water stomata. Okay, they will be present uh, where the vein ends in the leaf. Okay, vein near the tip of the grass blades. Okay, and in the photograph you can observe how the guttation process occurs. Okay, you will observe the liquid droplets at the margins of the leaves, right? And this process is called as guttation, right? Okay. And one more um, concept is, okay, and here the importance of root pressure. What is the importance of root pressure, right? During the water movement of a plant, right? And here I told you root pressure can only provide a modest push in the water transport. Okay, modest, not the highest. Okay, only to some extent, due to this pressure water can move in the plant, right? Root pressure can only provide a modest push in the water transport, right? It has no major role in water movement up tall trees. Okay, tall trees means what here? The trees which are having 100 or more than 100 meters height. Okay, or 120 meters height, right? Okay, but other importance, greatest role of root pressure is to re-establish the continuous chains of water molecules in the xylem, right? Okay, due to this pressure or the root pressure, it helps to re-establish the continuous chains of water molecules in the xylem, because in xylem, in the stem part, okay, always the water molecules will be there, right? Okay, which often break under the tensions created by the transpiration. Okay, if transpiration occurs, then tension will be created in the uh, xylem vessels xylem vessels. Okay, and here it can be avoided by the presence of a pressure called as the root pressure, right? Greatest role of root pressure is to re-establish the continuous chains of water molecules in the xylem, which often break under the tensions created by the uh, transpiration, right? Okay, and one more importance is, in most plants, okay, in most plants, majority of water transport occurs by transpiration pool, remember. And the first 2 points are related to the role of root pressure in the water movement. Okay, but the third point we are going to study it in the next concept. It means, in most of the plants, majority of the water transport occurs by the transpiration pull, but not by the root pressure. I told you root pressure can only provide a modest push in the water transport, right? Okay, it is not having any major role in water movement of tall trees, right? Okay, so in majority or in most of the plants, the water transport will occur by the one more force or one more pressure called as the transpiration pull. Okay, that force is called as the transpiration pull, right? And let us understand how the transpiration pull will develop in the plant, and how it is responsible for the movement of water or ascent of sap in the plant. Okay, and we are going to understand the transpiration pull now. Okay, and remember, in plants the water flow upward through the xylem achieves. Okay, in plants what we observe, the movement of water flow, okay, flow upward through the xylem, it occurs through the xylem only. It achieves fairly high rates. It means what here, water can move up to 15 meter per hour. Okay, normally water can move up to 15 meters per hour. Okay, and here now the question comes, okay, whether the water is pushed in the plant body or it is pulled through the plant, right? But according to the current research, Okay, what the researchers will say here, the water is mainly pulled through the plant, not pushed. Okay, it is mainly pulled, and the driving for this process is uh, the transpiration from the leaves. Okay, and due to transpiration there is the development of a force called as the transpiration pull. Okay, and because of this one we call this entire theory or entire concept as the cohesion tension transpiration pull model. Okay, this concept is called as cohesion tension transpiration pull model of water transport, right? Okay, and here water is mainly pulled through the plant, and that the driving force for this process is called as transpiration. This is called as what here? Cohesion transpiration pull model of water transport, right? Okay, now let us understand uh, the other lines, important lines which are given in the textbook. What are those? uh, Transpiration, regarding transpiration. Okay, and remember, water is said to be transient in plants. Okay, we call water is the transient in plants. It means it can retain in the plant only for some time. Okay, water is transient. Okay, it can retain in the plant for only for some time. And remember, one more important thing is, uh, plant will absorb the water daily. A huge quantity of water will be absorbed by the plant, and among this one, less than 1% of the water, okay, less than 1% of the water reaching the leaves is used in photosynthesis. Only less than 1% it will be used in photosynthesis and even in the plant growth, right? And most of it is or most of the water content will be lost through the stomata in the leaves. Okay, most of the water content will be lost through the stomata in the leaves, right? And here already we have studied about the stomata. Stomata are nothing but what here? Stomata are nothing but small microscopic openings present in the leaves. Okay, which are mainly meant for the transpiration as well as the exchange of gases, right? Okay, and now uh, let us understand about the transpiration, right? Okay, transpiration. To understand the transpiration process, we are going to uh, conduct a small experiment called as cobalt chloride experiment. Cobalt chloride experiment is there, right? And here cobalt chloride experiment, what we are going to do here, already we have studied it, right? Okay. um, we are going to place uh, a piece of cobalt chloride paper on the upper surface as well as on the lower surface of the dicot leaf. Okay, and on the, again on the papers we are going to cover those papers, cobalt chloride papers, with the glass slides or micro slides. And to this one we are going to uh, tie a rubber band, okay, tightly on both the sides. And after some time, due to transpiration, what will happen here, the color of the cobalt chloride will change here. Okay, it will turn from the uh, blue to pink, blue to pink, right? Okay, why? And here, in case of dicot leaf, more number of stomata will be present. So on the lower surface of the leaf, the color of the cobalt chloride will change normally. Okay, it will turn from blue to pink. Okay, it is mainly due to the absorption of moisture from the lower surface of the leaves, right? And it indicates that most amount of transpiration occurs through the lower surface of the leaf in case of dicot plants, because the number of stomata will be more on the lower epidermis than on the upper epidermis, right? And this is regarding a small experiment to understand the process of transpiration. And one more simple experiment you have done in your schools. What is that one? and we are going to place or enclose a healthy plant in polythene bag, and we are going to keep it for some time, right? After some time we can observe the droplets of water formed inside the polythene bag. Okay, it indicates that the transpiration will occur from the plant. Okay, and this is another experiment to understand the transpiration. Okay, now let us understand the detailed account of transpiration. Now the first line, it explains about the definition only. What is the definition of transpiration here? It is the evaporative loss of water by plants through the stomata in the leaves, right? And here or we can define like this. Okay, the loss of water, uh, the loss of water in the form of vapors or water vapors through the stomata is called as transpiration. Okay, I told you stomata means what here? Stomata are nothing but the microscopic openings present in the leaves, right? And here now you can observe the stomatal diagram here, right, on right side. Okay, two kidney or bean shaped guard cells will be there, and you will observe the stomatal pore open, and next to the guard cells the remaining cells are called as the subsidiary cells. Okay, the cells present in the vicinity of the guard cells are called as the subsidiary cells, and the remaining cells are considered as the epidermal cells, right? Okay, and remember, um, regarding transpiration, what is the next point here? I told you less than 1% of the water reaching the leaves is used in photosynthesis and plant growth. The remaining is lost by the transpiration only. And third point, transpiration can be studied using cobalt chloride paper, and it turns blue to pink on absorbing water. Okay, it will turn blue to pink on absorbing water. Okay, this also I explained you, right? Okay, and another important point, during transpiration what will happen here? Exchange of O2 and CO2, exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the leaf also occurs. Okay, it will occur through the stomata only, right? Okay, another important point, right? Okay, then one more important point is regarding the stomata. Okay, stomata are open in daytime and closed during night time. Okay, this concept will explains about the opening and closing of stomata. It means how the stomata will open and how they will close, right? Normally stomata are open in daytime and they will close during night time, right? And here in right side you will observe the stomatal apparatus diagram. Okay, the two important labelings are there. Microfibrils, they show the radial arrangement, then guard cell or kidney shaped guard cell or bean shaped guard cell, then stomatal aperture. Okay, now the diagram shows the stoma is in open condition, right? Okay, now stomata are open in daytime and closed during night time. And remember, opening and closing of stomata is mainly due to the change in the turgidity of the guard cells. Change in the turgidity of the guard cells. Okay, I told you in the previous concept, turgidity means what here? Normally, the water filled condition is called as the turgid condition, or the process is said to be turgidity, right? When the guard cells are turgid, then the stoma will open, right? And when the turgidity is lost in the guard cells, then the stoma will close. Okay, and here what we have mentioned here, opening or closing of stomata is due to change in the turgidity of the guard cells. Okay, and here the inner wall of the guard cell lining. Okay, in the inner wall of the guard cell lining of stomatal aperture is thick and elastic, and the outer wall is thin. Okay, inner wall is thick and outer wall is thin. What is the importance of this one? This thick and thinness of the wall of the guard cells, it helps in the opening and closing of stomata. It helps in opening and closing of stomata, right? And one more important point is, when turgidity of guard cell increases, the outer walls, okay, when turgidity of guard cell increases, the outer walls of the guard cells bulge out. Okay, they will bulge out and pull the inner walls into a crescent shape. Okay, and here what is the meaning of crescent shape here? The inner walls of the guard cells, the inner, you can observe the diagram here. The inner walls of the guard cells, they will become half moon shaped structures. So we call it as the crescent shape, right? Okay, when turgidity of guard cells increases, the outer walls bulge out and pull the inner walls into a crescent shape, right? And one more thing is the cellulose microfibrils which are present in the guard cells. Okay, the cellulose microfibrils in the guard cells are oriented radially rather than longitudinally, making it easier for the stoma to open. This is one more aspect. What you can understand here, if the arrangement of the cellular microfibrils are in radial, okay, then it shows the stoma is open. And if the arrangement is longitudinal, then what will happen? The stoma will be closed, right? Okay, cellulose microfibrils in the guard cells are oriented radially rather than longitudinally, making it easier for the stoma to open, right? And regarding the uh, closing of the stomata, okay, what will happen here? The guard cells lose the turgidity. Okay, it means when the guard cells lose the turgidity due to water loss or water stress, and the inner wall regain their original shape. Inner walls of the guard cells, they regain their original shape. As a result, what will happen here? The stoma will close. The stoma will close, right? And this is about the brief explanation about the opening and closing of stomata, right? And the one more concept, that is about the distribution of stomata in the leaves. Okay, how the stomata will be distributed in the leaves, right? And usually the lower surface of a dicot leaf has a greater number of stomata, right, than the upper epidermis. Normally in the dicot leaf, in the upper epidermis, the stomata will be absent. Okay, even if they are present, their number will be very less, right? Okay, but in case of monocot leaf, they are approximately equal in number. In case of monocot leaf, they are approximately equal in number on both the surfaces. Both the surfaces means what here? Upper surface as well as the lower surface, right? Okay, then the other small concept. Okay, what are the different factors affecting transpiration? Okay, in the examination, they may ask you each heading for 2 marks, right? External factors and the plant factors. Okay, uh, what is the concept here? The transpiration or the transpiration rate is affected by the both the external factors as well as the plant factors, or they are also called as the internal factors, right? And what are the external factors here? Temperature, then light, humidity, and wind or wind speed, right? External factors are temperature, light, then humidity and wind. And plant factors or internal factors, one is number and distribution of stomata, and second one is number of stomata open, then third one is water status of the plant, then fourth one is the canopy structure, etc., right? These are the factors affecting transpiration. Okay, it includes both the external factors as well as the plant factors, right? Okay, and let us study in detail about the transpiration pool. How the transpiration pool develops in the plant. Okay, and how it is responsible for the water movement up a plant. Okay, that we will discuss in the next YouTube class. next YouTube class. Thank you.